Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Well, I know how you're doing. Sam, United People's TV here with another morning live news show. We're going to be running through the latest United news, speaking about Andy Mitten's comments from the latest Talk of the Devils on Elliot Anderson. We're going to speak a little bit about Joao Gomes, a little bit about James Garner. It might just be paper guff, but I think you're probably going to have to get used to that for a good while now because the January window's, 5 weeks away? And we all know, but we want to sign a midfielder. I don't think Elliot Anderson is ever going to happen in January anyway, but we'll speak about all of that. We'll also speak about United appointing a new head of senior scouting. This has been something that's been expected for a while, but we got confirmation of it yesterday. I'll run through the latest news. You had Diego Leon and Aiden Heaven playing for the under-21s yesterday, what's happening with them and potential loans in January. And as always, get involved in the chat. Please send in your questions and your comments, and I'll try and engage with as many of you as I can. How's everyone doing today? Let me know in the chat. Let's have a look. Good morning to JC, to Alex, to Josh. Got the mods out here. We've got Gungshi as well. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. Bring some cheer here, Gungshi. We need some cheer in this chat. Fred Cranham, how you doing, buddy? We've got John. We've got Fran. Nice to see you, Fran. We've got Rob, Smee. We've got Phil and some non-members. Let's have a look. We have got Sandcaster. We've got Adeboal. We've got Untitled by December. So interesting username there. And MUFC 93. Good morning to all of you. Yeah, that's it. How you getting on? Everyone ready for December? I tell you what, just to give you a sort of sneak preview of what's coming on the channel. I think I've told you this last week. I want to make this, I don't know, it's one of the most enjoyable Decembers that we can have as far as what we're doing as a community goes. I can't guarantee that the results are going to be the most enjoyable because it's Man United, but every single day we're going to be having a giveaway on the channel. Every single day in December that we're live. So I've already shown you all the posters down there. We're going to be having interactive quizzes, going to get that all set up. So probably at the end of every single live show in December, we'll have a nice interactive quiz. Whoever tops that leaderboard, you'll win a prize for that day. And also going to have a big giveaway. And I'll tell you what it is, right? So the plan is, I need to set this up properly, but I want to do a raffle that goes throughout the whole of December, and the prize is going to be a PS5, right? And all the proceeds from every single raffle ticket that gets sold, all of that's going to go to charity. So it's our way of doing something nice as a community, coming together, and we can donate towards a charity, but also this is something that I'm going to contribute, United People's TV are going to contribute, is the prize at the end of it. So 100% of the proceeds from the raffle are going to be going to charity, and the winner of the raffle is going to win a PS5. Come on. That's good, right? United maybe should, but that's good. I think I'm just going to try my best to spread some cheer in December, because I think we're going to need it. We think we're going to need it. Eric, good morning to you. Speaking of spreading cheer, legend, man. Gifting 20 memberships, all of you. All of you get in the Discord, please. Seriously. Transfers won't help. Steve, it's randomly mentioned that because latest episode of the pod is out. It's me, Dan, and Nick. Nick, unfortunately, had to sit and watch that in the stadium. That would be annoying. That would have been annoying. But the latest episode of the podcast is out. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. Please give it a listen. Lots of work goes into this, and just lots of work goes into everything we do, really. It would be nice if United actually put in the work during the games. It's so frustrating, that, isn't it? So frustrating. Anyway, the reason I said the segue from the Elliot Anderson comment was because I asked on the pod, right, about how much of a difference do you think having an Elliot Anderson in midfield would make? And we'll answer that question in a few minutes' time when we run through the Elliot Anderson news. But yeah, the latest episode of the pod is out. Now, if you're looking for positives, you can't really look at United, but say you're losing. Okay. Stephen, Sam, you're wrong about Bruno. Please stop. Explain yourself, sir. What am I wrong about? What am I saying that's wrong about Bruno? About the fact that he is quite literally the best creator in Europe in the last 5 years, and this season where his numbers are the lowest. I don't know what that could be. Has anybody got any inkling why Bruno might be having his least creative season in a Manchester United shirt? Can't for the life of me think of why it might be. Can't for the life of me think why we might be having central midfield problems when we're playing a number 10 in a number 6 role. Well, number 8 role, wherever you want to go. Anyway, Leeds City losing. Right? Is that 2 in a row? Shame. Mate, it was such an opportunity this season, isn't it? Well, it was. I suppose it still is. But everybody's wobbling, man. Like, for years and years, right, we've had to sit by whilst United have been, like, stumbling through with different managers and Liverpool just been, like, cruise control. And City have just been in cruise control. Like, nothing really goes wrong. Mate, they're finally both having wobbles. Still can't get it together. I think what hurt the most about that game against Everton is because I think we all felt, even if it was only a little tiny bit, even if it was only a small bit, we all genuinely felt that 5 unbeaten, there's a possibility that you might be able to build something on this. And Everton at home just felt like the perfect opportunity. I think that's what annoyed us all so much. Someone down there saying, Amorim's created the problem with Bruno. I'll be totally honest. If you want a finger point, I mean, this isn't a finger point, but this is what happened. It's Jason Wilcox led with the strategy to sign a number 9 ahead of signing a central midfielder. We know that Ruben Amorim pushed for a midfielder. We know that's the case. It's already came out, like the Athletic have discussed it. But Jason Wilcox was pretty firm that United needed to bring in more goals. So United went and signed Šeško. And it was at that point, why I disagree with that strategy, and people tried to call me a flip-flop for saying that all of a sudden I wanted to keep Højlund. And I was like, no, I just thought that United overall this season would have been a better team had we invested £75 million into a central midfielder rather than £75 million into a striker after signing Mbeumo and Cunha. I said that at the time. I continue to say it now, and I will say it all season. We all knew we needed a central midfielder. Does it mean I think Šeško's a bad signing? Am I upset we signed him? Absolutely not. Do I think we could have maybe assigned our money a little bit better, strategy-wise? Possibly. I've said that, and I stand by it. Gungshi, that's not what I meant. I wasn't me goading it, I promise. We have just sprinkled some gifts up in here. I'll tell you what, right? See if I got this right. I should have got this set up earlier. But if I'm correct now, we should be able to. Hey! You give us some memberships? We'll have some fun on the lights. Why not? Let's go red and white. You're a legend, Gungshi. You really, really are. Let's get on with today's show. What's he saying down there? Buskovich saying Cunha's absence was notorious. We didn't have any personality in attack. And Mbeumo was getting really doubled up on as well, man. Gungshi saying hoping to bring up a little bit of cheer after that crap performance and result, man. That's one way. We're going to need a lot more than that to bring some cheer into this chat. Let's be honest. Really random bit of news here. But how mad is this? Right? How mad is this? Sheffield United's owners have inquired about buying Sheffield Wednesday. I'm sure that won't actually be allowed because of conflict of interest. As I said, very, very random. Right. Let's go through and speak about today's head. I suppose this isn't really going to be anything like major new news, right? Per se. But Elliot Anderson, there's conversations that we've had about whether or not Elliot Anderson is just the flavour of the month, or whether Elliot Anderson is the best candidate. Now, we've done the research ourselves. You've seen the 3 videos that we've produced. First on Baleba, second on Anderson, and third on Wharton. And Anderson came out on top in terms of the data and stats test. That's part of the recruitment process now. Second part, eye test. Well, he's passed that with flying colours as far as Baleba versus United and Anderson versus United, and now we get to see Wharton on Sunday. So it's going to be interesting to see that. That'll be the trio of those performances. And then on top of that, it's all about the background character and the research that you do into understanding these players. And people are going to have concerns. But Elliot Anderson really does top the list, not just because he's in decent form for Forest, right? When you dive into it, it kind of only solidifies his position as number 1. Now, speaking on the latest episode of Talk of the Devils, Andy Mitten was asked by Ian Irving about sort of, what names are coming up in terms of midfield, and just sort of reiterated that Elliot Anderson is kind of top of that list and that United absolutely want to sign him. It's not to say that United are guaranteed, because we're not guaranteed to sign him. And I want to, as I said earlier, the question I asked on the pod this week, and I want to get your opinions on this. Take that Everton game, for example, just in isolation. How much of a difference do you think it would have made against Everton in that game, having Elliot Anderson or a midfielder of his quality in that team? But how much of a difference would it actually have made in that game in particular? Do I think our midfield got overran? No, not really, because Gay got sent off after 15 minutes and David Moyes didn't even bring another one on. Like, Hashu down there with a question which I think is fair enough, but I think it's very easy to answer. Like, but does he want to join us? Again, as Andy alluded to in the latest pod, mate, I know that we're so stung by what United have done and what United have become over these last few years, but as this summer showed with Cunha, with Mbeumo, with Šeško, right, United's pull really is still so significant, and it's not just about money. Like, players still want to play for Manchester United, and we have something to offer that other clubs just simply don't. There's only like Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich. You can go into Serie A if you want. Maybe, probably not really. I kind of say those 3. Maybe Liverpool if you want to. There's only a few clubs that can offer certain things that United just have. Right, I'm gonna see what you're saying about that question I asked. Like, if we had Eddie Anderson in that game against Everton, how much of a difference do you think it would have made? John, you're saying quite a lot. Daz, you're saying it wouldn't have made any difference. Good old opinions. We were poor in attack, so we wouldn't have changed anything. And again, this is something I've raised in the pod. We talk about the values of players, right? And Elliot Anderson's going to go for a north of 100 mil. I thought that about Baleba, and then this season happened, and well, it's absolutely tanked that. But the season he's having, we've still got the majority of the season left, and the World Cup on top of that, and Liverpool and City will both probably be in the market for a midfielder. He's going to go for north of 100 mil. Circumstances, demand, and what's coming up the World Cup. But when it comes to a player like Anderson, someone's saying that he wouldn't have helped our crap attack. Elliot Anderson and that all-purpose midfielder, they help both the defence and the attack. They're that cog in the middle. They're involved in every single area of the pitch. So I actually think it would have helped United's attack. Hender, you don't think it would have ended differently? Superstar saying it would have put Bruno way higher and he would have created more in that game. That's a really good point there. It maybe would have been Elliot Anderson being one of the deeper players, and then Bruno, instead of Joao receiving that ball there, Bruno would have been there, which you might say, well, hold on, Sam, that means that Bruno's playing right-sided centre-back. Maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't have happened. Everton bullied us off the ball. Midfield doesn't have the legs. Quality rubs off on other players. Sebastian saying, not much. We lack creativity, and players did not clearly want to win. I think it would have made a difference, man. I think it definitely will make a difference to Manchester United when we have a midfield. It's almost... I'm not going to use the word hilarious. Like, spoke about United's strategy. It was quite obvious. First of all, sign Premier League proven quality, and I think that is a strategy that will continue over the next few years, and I completely agree with it, by the way. It's going to come with an English tax, a Premier League tax, a United, whatever tax you want to call it. It's going to be expensive. But you're going to get more sure things in the Premier League than you are in any other league. So I agree with that part of the strategy. But United's strategy this summer was, we didn't score enough last year. Let's just bring in goals. Let's not worry about the control. Let's not worry about that. No, let's just bring in the goals. Goals first. Next, then we'll do the midfield. Next, then we'll do the defence. 3 summers in a row, sort each position, you build a team. That's the logic. Look, January's coming around. Look, there's no chance you're going to get Elliot Anderson. We've had this conversation before. We'll probably have this conversation again. Richie's saying, in contrast, my last point, Anderson could drive the ball and maybe win a free kick penalty. Well, that wouldn't have happened against Everton because it was 6. I mean, I suppose you could have won a free kick, but the box was so stacked. That's why we were putting crosses in, but they were just kind of felt like aimless crosses. Alex saying you'd argue United need 3 central midfielders if Casemiro leaves. Regardless of what happens, we need 2, and maybe we need 3. Paul saying Casemiro looked tired after international games. Yeah, I would kind of disagree on that because he had 2 full 90s before we went to Anfield. I wouldn't really say it was... And he also didn't play 2 full 90s for Brazil, and also they played in London and in France. So by contrast, it was a much easier international break for Casemiro than it was for the last one, and he looked fine after that. Like, everybody was... It's one thing, like, people saying, like, Casemiro's running in treacle. Just nobody just seemed up... No one seemed up for it at all. They just couldn't be bothered with the... Like, it wasn't Anfield. It's one of those things I've always felt. That United players are just very, very good at geeing themselves up for the big occasion. Come on, then. Come on, then, we got this. But then you go and do it against Sunderland at home, and that was fine. You go and do it against Brighton at home, and that was fine. I don't know what it was the other night. But Andy Mitten saying that Elliot Anderson absolutely is the midfielder that we want. And I'm not surprised because he passes the eye test. He's top of all the data tests. His stock's only going to keep rising. He's likely going to start for England at the World Cup alongside Declan Rice. I think the price is only going to keep going up and up and up. And that particular position is the most valuable in world football. That all-purpose central midfielder. And it has been for the last few years. It's why Chelsea spent, 115 on Enzo Fernandez, 105 on Caicedo. Why Arsenal spent over 100 mil on Declan Rice. And City will probably try and spend over 100 mil on Elliot Anderson this summer to replace Rodri. It feels quite obvious. Random question. I'll ask you now. Do you think that City will go in for Anderson? And it will just be a straight choice. Would it be a straight choice? It depends whether Liverpool go in for Anderson. There really is a possibility that all of United, Liverpool and City all want to sign him as their number 1 central midfield choice. And if that happens, that's going to be some bidding war. What we're saying down here, Steph saying, imagine Munoz and Morton in our midfield quartet. That's what we're up against. We'll speak about the Palace game. We'll probably speak about it tomorrow. Siraj is saying, Paul went past our midfield to score. Man, it was like a long ball that went over the top. Then it went out wide, and it was an easy pass in midfield. Bruno was then behind the ball. didn't get it. It just was nowhere near aggressive enough, and neither was Joao. Quite a lot of you down there think that all three of them are going to go in for Elliot Anderson, and it wouldn't surprise me. So watch this space. Maybe United. Hey, look. When it comes to Carlos Baleba, I don't think Brighton will be very happy with how we're dealing with United now, because we got in his head, we turned his head, and he's not been the same player since. You can argue that's a coincidence, but I really don't think it is. I imagine United might try something similar with Elliot Anderson, probably not as aggressive, and because the World Cup's coming up, so we won't want to distract him in that sense. But then more, and this might just be a paper conversation, right? Joao Gomes is just coming out from Brazil, right? I imagine it probably is, because I don't know if I'm on my own here. Let's say, let's not argue about the price. Let's say 43 million is the price for Joao Gomes. Do you want United to sign him in January? Let me ask you that. Would you want United to buy Joao Gomes for 43 million in Jan? Yes or no? Just out of curiosity, that question. Alex, you're asking, do you think there's any world in which Anderson decides his future before the World Cup? I mean, possibly. But if you're Elliot Anderson, kind of why would you? Honestly, why would you? I wouldn't. If I had confidence in myself that I knew I was going to go out there and I'm sure he will have confidence in himself. It's not a case that he doesn't care about putting himself in the shop window. He just wants to focus. And maybe it would help him to be less distracted at the World Cup. Maybe. Rev, you're saying yes, just get more players in. And you're saying no, waste of money. Not for me, says Rob. John, you're saying of course. Yes, so long as it means Anderson can happen in the summer, says Alex. Yes, but 43 mil is too much. See, I've got no doubt that Joao Gomes would improve our midfield, because I don't particularly think it's difficult. But I really do question whether dropping 40 plus mil on Joao Gomes would leave us with the capacity to go after the midfielders that we want to go after in the summer. I think that's the only reason I would hesitate on signing Joao Gomes. I look at Joao Gomes, might be looking at this wrong. I look at him as an Ugarte replacement and upgrade. Is that fair? Or is it just a straight Casemiro replacement? And then Elliot Anderson would be more the Ugarte replacement, a massive upgrade. Hey, man, you're definitely on your own there, dude, saying your midfield isn't that bad anymore. Sorry, our midfield isn't that bad anymore. Dude, our midfield is so unbelievably not fit for purpose. And just such a mismatch. There is no complementary, perfect pairing in that midfield. And it is a very, very demanding role in this system. The two midfielders have to be better than your average midfielder. Fitter than your average midfielder. More all-rounded than your average midfielder. It's not a case of just having a pure number 6 and a pure number 8. You kind of have to do a bit of both. Chris, I don't know what's happened to Ugarte this season. Ugarte wasn't pulling up trees last season, but he had something about him. Like, I could see his shortcomings, but I could also see where he helped United, especially out of possession. But he's just a straight-up hindrance this season. He's really not adding anything in or out of possession. His head's gone, for sure. Gomes in, Casemiro out. Casemiro's not leaving before the end of the season. When Casemiro is subbed off, when Casemiro is off or subbed off, the drop-off is enormous. Yeah, Casemiro started against Everton. So it's not. I know that there's a lot of data that points towards how much better, I suppose, how much more focused and screwed on United are when Casemiro is on the pitch. Yeah, but Casemiro was on the pitch, and we were against 10 men, and there was still no drive or anything going on there. So He's not the sole solution. And we've seen this, and we'll see more of this, and I'm really not going to be surprised if United do actually go back in for James Garner, because he is available on a free transfer in the summer. And if you want to talk about market opportunities, you want to talk about Premier League proven players. I'm trying to remember when James Garner, I think we spoke about this before, he was sold, was it Van? No, it wasn't Van Gaal, was it? That wasn't that long ago. 15 mil to Everton. I don't think it was a burned bridge. Some players leave United and it's kind of under a little bit of a cloud. Does anyone remember if it was on? I don't particularly remember it being under a cloud when James Garner left. I think he was just ready to play, what was he, 20-ish? Don't actually know. Yeah, I think this is definitely one to watch. If you're looking at, was it Ten Hag who sold him? He was very good for Everton. I mean, to be fair, Everton played very well. They had that. You see how Everton played. I don't think they won't. Crystal Palace won't play as deep as that, but they will play as disciplined as that, as in shape as that. There won't be massive holes that United can exploit. The only way that we're going to be able to break Crystal Palace down is through quality of passing or through quality of delivery. Because I very much doubt you're going to be able to drive too much with the ball because they're going to be disciplined. How about we employ a slapping coach? It might motivate people, says JC. In that video, there's that coach who walks around the dressing room, just like bang, bang, bang. Anyway, I don't need to speak about the Palace game just yet. But James Garner is one I would predict United to. You'd be foolish not to look at him as an opportunity. Joao Gomes for me. We can see the poll down here. We've got 65% of you are saying you would want to buy Joao Gomes in January for 43 mil. I would just worry that spending 40 plus mil in January would limit us on what we could do in the summer, which is where our actual main targets are going to be. If we can do both financially, no one really knows. And that's something we learned about in the summer. And it's why I've always been hesitant on saying this is United's budget. We see it going into every summer window. United preparing 200 million transfer chest splash, whatever it is. No one actually really bloody knows. How much are you going to make from sales? How much of that's going to come in cash flow straight in that summer? What's your actual budget? How much credit have you got to spend? You would imagine. Oh, actually, would I? Type yes or no in the chat here, right? Do you expect United's spending this summer coming up to be reflective of what was spent last summer? So what was that? Was it 220 odd mil? Ish. Thereabouts. We made a fair amount from sales. Now, next summer, you've got the Hoyland money coming in already. What other money are you going to make? Probably Luke Shaw. Marcus Rashford money will be coming in. Jadon Sancho will be off the books. Casemiro likely off the books, but not guaranteed. Okay, all of you down there so far saying, yep, you think we will be spending that much, if not more. Bloody hell. Big yes, says Dowski. What other money are we going to get next summer? Can't remember. Hoyland and Rashford is 70 mil total, isn't it? Ugarte, that's definitely one. Probably best as you can get is like 20, 25 mil. Let's be realistic, like 20 mil for Ugarte. I don't think anyone's going to be offended. So let's do that. That's 90 mil. I think there's a possibility that Bruno gets sold. I do. And we know what that release clause is now. What was it, 50 something million? I think next, I say this every summer, I suppose, but it feels like next summer we're actually going to get some big sales. Last summer, the summer just gone, we were kind of compromising everywhere. Just like, all right, cool, 40 mil for Garnacho. Right, sod it, right, you take him on loan. Okay, right, just pay the wages. Xerxes as well, probably. Malacia, definitely. Onana, that's another one. Hey, mate. Yeah, all right, we're definitely going to spend more than 200 mil. So maybe there will be space for signing a player. That's kind of the reason I was asking that. Maybe there is space for United to sign a player for 40 mil in January and have the capacity in the summer to go after midfielders that we want to go after. United will know this, and we will only find out in January. But if we do have the capacity to go for that, then of course I'd love to sign a midfielder in January. Who wouldn't? I want it to be a midfielder that would actually serve a purpose inside the squad for years to come, rather than just being a stopgap. We'll see. In terms of Semenyo, apparently United are in for him and interested in signing him. I just can't see it happening. I'd be surprised. Like, in a good way, because Semenyo's a heck of a player. But I just don't think that that's going to be our focus on that level of signing. Really. Like, Caleb down there saying, would you sell Xerxes in the summer? Yeah, I would. And that's not a reaction to his performance against Everton. I just feel, unfortunately for him, the circumstances have changed at this club from when he came in and what we signed him for. And there is no position that really, really suits him down to a T now. He's way down the order in the pecking order in terms of number 10s, and he's not good enough to play in this isolated number 9 role in this system. So yeah, I would sell him. I actually think we can get pretty good money for him as well. Didn't we offer Brighton 70 mil for Baleba? Sure to use that money in Jan. I don't think we offered anything for Baleba. I believe that we made sure that he wanted to join. Then we spoke to Brighton, and when they gave us their minimum price, we were like, all right, cool. We'll see you next time. Do you think we'll get more than last summer's sell-on percentages, says Carl? I tell you what, it's a really random point there, but Greenwood, I think there's a possibility that United make some good wedge from that Greenwood sell-on clause in the summer. Dirty little scumbag. We need to focus on performing better right now, says Az. Of course we do. Of course we do. I'm just speaking about what's out in the news. And speaking about what's out in the news, and this is, I suppose this is quite a significant appointment. And I might do a lunchtime video on this, just so you understand a bit more about who Carl McCauley is. It's not Macaulay Culkin. Home Alone, 1 or 2? Let me know in the chat. United's Christmas. How long do you wait in December before you watch Home Alone? Anyway, United have got a new head of senior scouting. This is going to be somebody who works underneath Chris Favell, and it's part of a whole... So basically, if you don't know, our whole scouting system has been completely renovated over these last few months. Yeah, I think I can do a lunchtime video on this because not everyone will understand this. Like, we completely changed the whole setup. We got new regional scouts in. We got new domestic scouts in. We revamped the whole international setup. Now all of those people, instead of Chris Favell, I suppose, leading that, data's all gonna go into Carl McCauley. Now, in lunchtime video, I'll sort of run through his career, he's worked at Swansea, he's worked at Brighton, worked at Chelsea, worked at West Ham, worked with Graham Potter a lot, what players have been involved in signing. Overhauled. That's probably a good way to describe it. This isn't... you're never going to really see Carl McCauley's face. You're never really going to hear from him again. But it's just part of the new transfer setup. All right? So I'll run through that in the lunchtime video. What are you saying down there? Mikey, you're saying number 2. So's Ant. But Craig and Carl, you're both saying number 1. I'm saying number 1, man. 26th of November, I'm talking about Home Alone. That's how crap the football is. We're going to have the Christmas... So I'm going to put the lights to white. Don't know why that looks so pink on this camera. You might notice a bit of a difference in the camera coming soon. Just saying. Keep your eyes peeled on that. But on Sunday, the plan is to get this whole place decorated. So we play Crystal Palace at 12. Game finishes. I'll be decorating the gaff, ready for the start of December on Monday. And I've got to do the podcast on Sunday night. We've got a busy Sunday coming up. Now, yesterday's video, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but I just wanted to sort of be honest to kind of where my mind was at with United right now. And I put it out and I asked this question, right? I said, look, what do you think United need to do in order to earn your trust? Now, I think I might have asked this question on the pod, not the pod, on here yesterday. And I'll ask you it again now. I was going to read through what some of the comments were because I thought they were quite good. There was like over 50 replies, right? Uncle Shaki is saying we need more ball carriers. People underestimate the impact of Cunha in this team. Meshroom saying we should not be surprised. Been a few good results. Managed to get 2 or 3 good plays, but 5 games unbeaten. I think made everyone believe too early. We're slowly making progress on and off the pitch. You want to build your trust in United after just 5 good games? Why are you surprised, Sam? The project needs a long time, and we will inevitably face setbacks like this. It can happen. Let's see what Amorim learns from this new scenario. I'm going to disagree with that one. This doesn't feel like a new scenario. That's what hurt so much about that Everton game. It felt like a retraction back to where we were before, and something that we did learn from and something that we did overcome to improve and go 5 unbeaten, only to then snap all that work in half and regress. That's what that Everton game was. It wasn't about learning anything new. It was pure regression. Has anyone talked about Garner yet? We just had a little conversation about Garner. Now, Nightmare Before Christmas is not the best film, man. You watch the start of that and it's great. And then you realise it's like an hour and 40. And I was like, I don't remember it being this long. It was not enjoyable. Marco, you're saying consistency. That's exactly what it is. It is the consistency. But now, unfortunately, even if you go 3 wins in a row, even if you go 5 unbeaten, that is a level of consistency. Even then, I can't trust you. I don't know when it changes, and I don't know what changes it anymore. I really, really am just lost for fresh ideas. United could play really well against Crystal Palace. Could go toe-to-toe with them. Could beat them. I don't know. No idea. And then what happens against West Ham at home? Again, no idea. But West Ham have been given the blueprint by Everton. I think that's one thing I always find really frustrating. Beating Manchester United, if you're Liverpool or City or Arsenal, you can't use that tactic because your fans won't allow you to do it. But if you're West Ham or Everton or Fulham or anything like that, just stay in a compact shape. Stay quite deep. Hit on the counter-attack and just give United the ball. Let them have possession because they really struggle when you do that. Which is exactly what this shows. And this is a mad stat, isn't it? This really is a mad stat. This is United's record under Ruben Amorim in games where we've had less than 50% possession and games where we've had more than 50% possession. Right? Look at that. On the left, points per match is 1.73 when we've had less than 50% possession. We're not in control of the ball, and that's how we control the game, by letting the opposition have it. But when we have the ball, 0.79. Out of 24 games, we've lost 15 of them. That's one of the worst stats I think we've seen. And it's why there are quite a lot of United fans that feel that what Amorim is building does have an element of unsustainability to it, because ultimately the end game. Right? The dream end game is Man United winning the treble. Man United winning all the pots. Man United being the dominant team. Can you do that if across the course of the season you've had less than 50% possession? I mean, maybe. Like, possession isn't everything. Obviously, goals and winning games are. But it's very, very likely that this is a contributing factor as to why United can't see out second halves, why United can't see out leads. Because you just don't fucking hold the ball. There's never a period where you can just knock it about for a minute and a half and frustrate the opposition. Simply by just having possession. We can't do that. Now, United's lack of having a mobile midfield is a significant part of that. Probably maybe it's the most contributing factor towards that and towards the direct style, but also that's kind of the trend of where Premier League teams are going right now. Possession, once upon a time, was everything. Not so much now. Gus, you're saying the stats misleading. When we have so much possession, it's because we are losing and the other team is on the back defending. When they play 11 players in the box, it's tough to get a goal. We wouldn't really say it's misleading at all, if I'm being completely honest. When teams sit back, it's because we've let them score early and they sit in shape because they sit in a shape that they know that United won't be able to break down because they know United's weaknesses, because they know that these stats are correct, because they know if they play in a low block and they give United possession, we really, really struggle. I wouldn't even say this is a Ruben Amorim problem, if I'm being completely honest. I think this problem goes back a long, long time. Like, probably to Fergie, man. Maybe that's a bit extreme. Maybe one goes back as far back as that. But Manchester United, for a long-ass time, have struggled against teams that play low blocks. Just can't figure out a way through them, as these numbers show. This isn't a Ruben Amorim issue. This is, and again, that's kind of reiterates the point, the fact that it is a midfield issue, because Man United not having a good enough midfield is not a Ruben Amorim issue. That goes back much, much further. It's been probably Man United's kryptonite, not even just Ruben Amorim's kryptonite, but United's kryptonite for so long. I don't know whether it's the same with other teams. I don't care about other teams. But I know for a fact that United have just struggled against low blocks and deeper lying teams and having more possession in and around the edge of the box and not being able to like craft open chances enough. And we do have some technically gifted players. I actually think crossing better with better players in the box is a way to break these down. But then when we're actually spamming crosses into the box against Everton, you've only got Xerxes in there. And you got on the end of two of them, and the crosses weren't even that good. And apart from that, you have Mason Mount or bloody Ahmad. You didn't have the players in the box. You didn't have Maguire on the pitch. You didn't have your centre-backs pushing up into the box. That there, for me, if I really did the research and looked back in it, I can show you probably similar stats for a lot of seasons that go way back beyond Ruben Amorim. I guarantee you that. It's been an issue for a long time. Moses is saying even better to play attacking football at this stage. I think probably that's where I'd like against Brighton. That was just a much better example of what this team should be like, man, or can do. They gave Brighton quite a lot of the ball, but we punished them when we went forward. We were so good against Brighton. 3.5 at half time? Gee. Right, let's run through the last couple of bits of news. Last night, Diego Leon and Aiden Heaven, both in action for the under-21s, right? Someone down there saying inconsistency is part of a rebuilding process. Dude. Rebuilding. How long have we heard that phrase for? It's because we only get so far into a build before we tear it down and start building it with different materials. there's no way that you can come at me after that Everton game and talk to me about inconsistency and rebuilding pro. Nah, there was an absolutely inexcusable, unprofessional showing from Ruben and every single one of those players against Everton. That wasn't anything to do with an inconsistent hiccup or anything. Nah, sod that, man. You've just gone 5 unbeaten. You've just had an international break. Everything is lined up and you're against Everton at home. You can't give me any sort of excuse that would justify that performance and that level of application from those players. Not after what you've just shown me you've done in the last 5 games. Nah, screw that. I don't know why they did what they did. I actually think a contributing factor for sure was the fact that they didn't actually know what to do when they went down to 10 men. Nothing changed from United. And that came from the manager. But yeah, those players did not apply themselves. Completely unprofessional, that performance against Everton. That's why it pissed me off so much. Right. Here. Diego Leon and Aidan Heaven both started for the under-21s last night, and reports coming from the Daily Mail suggesting that Leon and Kone could both be leaving United on loan in January. Maybe Aidan Heaven as well. Like, look at that Everton game. Sure, like, bringing Diogo Dalot on was when we all just went, ugh. Like, collectively, we were like, oh. How is bringing Diogo Dalot on as a lopsided left wing back going to give us any sort of creative attacking spark? You know what's going to happen? He's going to get the ball. He's going to cut back towards the edge of the box. And he's going to pass it, and it's going to be rinse repeat. It's exactly what he did. Aidan Heaven coming on as a left-sided centre-back and Luke Shaw going as the left wing-back, I think that would have given United a bit more actual natural shape on that left-hand side and probably some overlaps and probably some opportunities. But anyway, Heaven's a weird one. When he came in last season, took us all by surprise. We were like, he looks a lot more ready than I thought he would. Team's coped with it fine. Someone down there saying Dalot's at risk of being sold. We spoke about the names earlier. We spoke about Ugarte. We spoke about Rashford money. We spoke about Højlund money. I'm telling you, Dalot is a 30 to 40 million pound player. You might laugh at me when you say that, but I genuinely think that's his market value. I don't know. Serie A strikes me as the right place for that, but I don't think they would pay that much for Dalot. Would he go back to Portugal at this point? I don't know. Either way, let's see what happens with those two. And then you've got reports suggesting, and this makes sense for United, to loan players out to Nice when the possibility exists. The French league is extremely competitive. It's why United are probably going to be looking at, who is it? Jeremy Jacquet from Rennes. Maite from Rennes as well. Aibouadi from Lille. Obviously, we signed Lenny Yoro from Lille. The French league has got an abundance of talents. And it's a very physical league. A perfect place for a loan. And let's see, I would love for Diego Leon, because clearly he's not going to be getting any senior football this season. If I'm looking at next season, Harry Amass is going to be ahead of him in the pecking order. As he should be, by the way. So I think a loan spell for him in European leagues for a season or two, and then he's what? Oh no, I'm 20 years old. Yeah, fine. And then you come back in. It's Dalot 26. Mate, that strikes me as such a clear opportunity to sell a player that has really good market value. It isn't quite exactly what United need, but there will be plenty of teams where Dalot is a very good player for. Just not United. And we get good money and we reinvest that straight away. Bang, bang. But anyway, I think this would be a good thing. In fact, Sekou Kone, I think probably a loan spell will be good for him. Ideally in the Championship. Let's find out. Diego Leon going to Liga would be a great move. Aidan Heaven? I don't particularly think so. I think I'd rather have him in the squad, but he might be unhappy at his lack of game time and opportunity. I don't quite know. That's it. That's full show wrapped up. Anybody else got any questions? You can fire them in now. Headline from today is just Andy Mitten just saying the Man United absolutely do want to sign Elliot Anderson. I think there's going to be I wouldn't say a gold rush for him, but I would expect City and Liverpool to both want to be in for him as well. Let's find out. Steve, you're saying, do you think Ruben's age is also something to do with it? He's not got enough experience yet, learning on the job. No, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think would Ruben Amorim be a better manager if he was 10 years older? Maybe. But then his ideas might be 10 years further down the line and he might not be able to keep on top of the trends of what's going on. I don't know. It's kind of a bit of a strange hypothetical question, that one then. But I'll be honest, I don't think that Amorim being older would make him a better manager for us. Why are we worrying about the summer window? The January signings? The reason I was talking about the summer window is because if we're going to spend 40 mil, does that impact our ability to sign in the summer? And just the names that we ran through there, Dalot, Ugarte, Xerxes, Højlund, and Rashford. Those 5 right there, that's best part of 100 mil, isn't it? Well, it's north of 100 mil. Let alone what might go on with Bruno or Casemiro. And you got Sancho's wages, which are going to be saved. Whew. Right. Any talk of Ineos buying more shares? Asked Chris. Nothing really. That's been a complete mute at this time. My prediction would be that any talk of increased percentage will come directly when it comes to funding for the new stadium. I think Ineos might offer more money, an investment for an equity percentage, or they might just want to take a percentage of the stadium. There is a possibility, I think, that the stadium itself could be, in fact, it probably will be when you think about it. The way that United is structured with like the PLC and the different limited companies, I imagine they're going to put Manchester United Stadium PLC and everything goes under there. And you can probably sell off percentages of ownership of that without selling off a percentage of ownership of the football club. Yeah, that'll probably happen, actually. No talk of City charges just yet. Angelo Stiller. So we've got the script prepped on a scouting video on him. Because if you're talking about 40, 43 mils, I think you're in the ballpark for Angelo Stiller as well. So maybe we'll do that video. We'll see. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. I know it's shit, if I'm honest. I know it's crap. Having the United just like burst your bubble like they do. But I'll always be here. It's not been easy. It really isn't. It hasn't been easy for a long time. Even if you get to enjoy a few games, you get punched in the face a couple of games later. I don't know when that's going to change. It will change at some point. Ideally soon. But I'll be here tomorrow. Lunchtime video. I might do it on the Carl McCauley, on the new head of scouting, and give you a bit more information on him. All right? Thank you to Gungshi for gifting, as always, dude. Love you. Thank you to Eric as well, and Toby at the start of the show. Apologies I didn't say thank you to you as well. Much love, everybody. You the best. United, not so much.